Hi viewers, now we shall see about a short description on nanoparticles and hydrothermal method. So what is nanotechnology? So from the name itself we can know that nano was, it is a critical dimension between 1 to 100 nanometer. So the size of the particle is between 1 to 100 nanometer. So from this it is named as nanotechnology. So nanotechnology means nanoparticles means the particle size is between 1 to 100 nanometer. And what is meant by nanotechnology? The nanotechnology means it measures, manipulate or incorporate materials with the dimension of this nanoparticle size, that is 1 to 100 nanometer. Also, it can be applied to exploit properties such as which is differ from the bulk materials. The bulk materials properties will be completely different from the properties of the nanoparticles, and these properties will be enhanced when compared with the bulk particles. So nanoparticles, it's a clear description. The nanoparticles lie between the dimension 1 to 100 nanometer. Nano derived from the Greek word nanos, that means dwarf or extremely small, that is 1 to 100 nanometer. From the name itself we can know it can be used as a prefix for any unit to mean a billionth of that unit. So we are seeing the schematic representation of different dimensions of nanoparticles, that is 0, 1, 2 and 3 dimension. So for the 0 dimension nanoparticles are spheres, clusters, which will come under this category, and nanorods, wires will come under 1 dimension category, and under 2 dimension category nanofilms, nanoplates will occur, and nanoparticles will be 3 dimension. So 1 dimension means it will be constrained in other 2 dimensions, and 0 dimension means it is constrained in all the directions. 1 dimension means it will be elongated in 1 direction, other 2 directions will be constrained, and in 2 dimension it is constrained in one dimension, other 2 dimension will be elongated, and in 3 dimension no dimensions will be or directions will be constrained. So why are these nanoparticles important? The properties of nanoparticles can be controlled by engineering the size, shape and composition of the particles. Engineers can incorporate them into other materials to create new composite. Composite materials means the nanoparticles mixed with the other materials, or any 2 nanoparticles combine different materials. Nanoparticles of different materials combined together, they are called nanocomposite, with enhanced or entirely different properties from their parent material. So when 1 nanoparticle, that is zinc, is mixed with magnesium, they are differ from its parent. If zinc and magnesium will separately give one property, and when they are mixed together, the property will differ completely. So when the inclusion of appropriately selected nanoparticles, these metals can be made stronger and harder. Ceramics can have enhanced toughness and formability. Insulating materials can be made to conduct heat or electricity, and protective coatings can become transparent. When compared with bulk materials, these nanoparticles give completely different and enhanced properties. There are 2 different approaches for nanofabrication. So one is top to down fabrication, and another one is bottom to up fabrication. So what does mean by top to bottom? So because top to bottom means we start with the bulk material and end up with the material or size that we want. Start with the bulk material and end up with the material size that we need or want. And bottom-up approach means building what you want by assembling it from building blocks. That is, starting from small to end up with the size we need. So that is atom by atom, molecule by molecule, or a cluster by cluster. So this is the schematic representation of top-down and bottom-down approach. That this top-down method can be obtained by mechanical grinding or erosion, and this bottom-up method can be obtained by 3 techniques: aerosol technique, chemical precipitation, or self-assembly. The schematic representation is given in the figure. So there are many methods to synthesize nanoparticles. There are many methods, physical methods as well as chemical methods. There are many methods. They are listed in the slide. That is, physical methods undergo laser ablation, inert gas condensation, high energy ball milling method, chemical vapor deposition method, electro deposition method. And the chemical methods include hydrothermal method, salt gel, sonochemical, co-precipitation, and electroswinning. And now I am choosing hydrothermal method. Why this hydrothermal method? It is a very simple, easy, and cost-effective method. So I chosen this. It is an aqueous chemical process. That is, aqueous chemical process means we use only water. Hydrothermal. If it is solvothermal method, any other solvent will be used. Instead of water, we use any other solvent, that is ethanol, acetone, or something. A hydrothermal process means only water is used. So simple aqueous chemical method. It is very cost effective. The typical reacting temperature is 100 to 374 degrees Celsius, and the pressure range is 0 to 15 megapascal. The product is crystalline anhydrous ceramic powders with controlled particle size, controlled stoichiometry, and controlled particle shape. And the important note is here, calcination is not necessary because hydrothermal is undergone under a high pressure and high temperature. The autoclave itself will give a high pressure and high temperature, so separately calcination is not needed. And the starting precursor can be inexpensive oxides, hydroxides, chlorides, and nitrates. Also, this hydrothermal process can be used to prepare different shapes of nanoparticles. So the hydrothermal process is very important and very cost effective and very simple process. The term hydrothermal usually refers to any heterogeneous reaction in the presence of aqueous solvents or mineralizers under high pressure and temperature. This is the very important point, high pressure and temperature conditions to dissolve and recrystallize materials that are relatively insoluble under ordinary condition. So under ordinary condition it may be insoluble, but under hydrothermal method it can be easily soluble. For a typical hydrothermal reaction, we use apparatus which is called autoclaves or bombs. The picture of the autoclave is given below. It is a very compact hands-on user apparatus, and the inner parts are given in the bottom. So next one is, now the material I have chosen is nickel oxide. Why I have chosen nickel oxide? Because it is a p-type 3D transition metal oxide semiconducting material with a wide energy band gap from 3.6 to 4 electron volt, and it has a good electrochromic and thermoelectric properties as well as high chemical resistance. So because of these properties, this nickel oxide can be used in many applications, used in many applications, that is reaction catalysis, batteries, sensors, photocatalysis, and electrochromic devices. The crystal structure of nickel oxide material is commonly known as cubic rock salt structure. The nickel atom is placed in a 6-fold octahedral coordination. So the synthesis of nanoparticles has been achieved using several different methods, but the best method is hydrothermal method. So the hydrothermal method is the best techniques for growing nickel oxide. Advantages of this method include inexpensive apparatus, as I already said, low temperature operation, it is user friendly, and it's substrate independent. No substrate can be used, but we can get a good structures. The hydrothermal method produces non-pure nickel oxide material because of the hydroxide produced in the growth solution. So this hydroxide can be removed by annealing this non-pure nickel oxide at 300 to 500 Celsius to produce pure nickel oxide nanostructures. So thank you.